welcome back to my channel, Katie Plants. So if you are just joining us, thank you for watching, or starting to watch anyway, but we are finally at the Colosseum. This has been one of our long awaited days, and this is unfortunately our last day on our vacation, but we had 13 days before in Europe. So we did start on the Disney Dream in Spain, and we have ended in Rome, and this is our last day in Rome. We had 2 days there, and now we are continuing on our guided tour with Liv Tours at the Colosseum. She's going to give us a bit of information in just a bit, and then I will finish up with my intro and talk about the Colosseum a little bit.
So it's not by the way, archaeologists, they're claiming this part was founded, so it's part of the original cave that made with marble slabs. Just dig down and remember that that was the inside. It's the third ring that right before here.
So can you imagine what this Colosseum would have looked like if it would have had all of the original marble and statues and everything? I can't even think about it, because just seeing this was mind-blowing enough that they done it without modern technology and electricity and all the things that we use just in our normal everyday use, let alone trying to build this huge Colosseum. So that was really cool to think back. As you can see, this was pretty busy over here because it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so peak travel tourist season in the middle of June. We did have to go through a few checkpoints, including tickets scanned several times. We did have to show our passport as well. But being here at the Colosseum was very surreal. Now, leading up to the day, we have been talking about the Colosseum and different aspects and the things surrounding the Colosseum, but actually being in here was another whole different area. So I don't have the best memory, and this is 2 years after the fact, and after I had filmed this, so I don't have all the information, but I do remember the Colosseum, I would think, a little bit more than I remember some of the other days, just because we had waited to see this for so long. This was one of the highlights of the trip, was getting to see this. Not that it was anything more spectacular than, because I mean, we enjoyed everything. So many memories were made on this trip, but this was one of our highlights for sure, just because of how excited we were to see this. And we'll probably go again if we ever go back to Rome.
Finally, there was like this inside. We have the access to the arena floor, but we first goes here. In reality, we are in one of the main entry, like probably one reserved to senators and mayors. Okay, we have to imagine.
I know I felt very special walking through there when she said that the emperors and senators walked through there.
Than the Colosseum. The ticket cost me €3. And it was me, my 2 friends, and a car.
Relax inside. I just want you to realize this was completely covered. It was not open. Like today is all open because in reality they have to pull the marble soft. The ring outside was an ancient building.
Imprisonment of up to 5 years, fine up to €15,000 for those who rise on the walls and damage the heritage.
There's a lot of signatures that are old. I want to show you that. I want to be beautiful there. This is Daronchina. I definitely don't mind. And another thing skip this road in the middle. Stop a second.
I have no idea what she was going to tell us, but I'm sure it was very interesting. But you can see some of the places where the pins were removed that held the marble to it.
That's our right there. Promise, no more steps. This is the part that was built to create doors. Okay, so we were talking about that. Benedictus 14, the reason why entry and exit. The entry at the beginning of the day for animals and gladiators, just to make the parade. You have to imagine the door was followed musical. The songs at the end emphasized the component. And they disappear in the crowd. Imagine that on the left of this building today is a little part excavated of the huge barrack.
I really don't know why, but as I'm watching this walking into the Colosseum, it looks a little smaller than I thought. I don't really know. I know it was definitely larger, but yeah, it feels a little bit, it looks like it feels a little bit smaller than it really was.
This is a little reproduction of the stage. Okay, this was removed when they had been on the ground. It was completely covered. Those are the reconstruction of senator seats. They were very, very close to the stage. And to stay inside and fill 60,000 like this Olympic Stadium football match we have today. At the beginning, it seemed there were like 27 elevators. At the end, they arrived until 60. Probably if they wanted, it was possible to raise 100 lights at the same time. Inside there were stages separated three. First level to the last floor. Okay, I'll show you again. Okay, animals. They were also to the bricks because the weight of the stage was too much.
It's really hard to imagine the events that they held here and the executions and all that they done to people that were enslaved. Some I'm sure deserved it, but I don't know if they deserved the cruelty that came with it as well.
Probably columns used to decorate imperial box, like the kind of marble used for the walls was this pavonazzetto and the balustrade. Interesting to understand how they have built the Colosseum. which this was the system. It had the Basilica San Clemente. Allora, we just take a little walk here, and then we see the view. We go down to it. I just wanted to show you some of the things we have. Some more, stairs covered with marble steps. Original senator seats that arrived from another amphitheater, not from this one.
So this was pretty wide. They looked small up there.
No, they were.
So you could sit on it comfortably.
You remember I told you about coins? Those are coins made for Colosseum. This is how they have used like a fortress. It was just where we found property, some of them at the ground, oil lamps there, and this is what I told you, the whole, the square foot, because this was the use, like a stage, for example, no? Here's clear. That's the reason why of the square foot. A wood reconstruction, but this was made at the end of the 18th century. The 240 poles were used to put the ceiling on. This house, pending the brand fashion, rented.
Yes.
A nice office. Yeah. We have to go back to the living room.
I really did love getting to hear all of the Roman history and the stories and everything, and there's just no way that I could remember all of that, even if I had recorded this like 2 weeks ago to now. Like, there's so much I would have forgot. I wish I could have recorded everything or had a camera that I could have used for that, but unfortunately I don't. I will next time. But yeah, this was definitely so cool to hear all of the Roman history and everything, and get all of that information and get to see all the pictures that she had. She had several different illustrations, things that she showed us throughout this tour, not even just at the Colosseum but in other places as well. I'm sure not going in this store just about killed my mom, because we both love to shop, and I know it's like basic tourist trap stuff in these store places, but the guide did let us go into the other one down below. She said that that one that we went to was a little bit better. They also had a lot of cat stuff. Our tour guide said that there were a lot of cats in the Colosseum, and there were several different bowls of hot water and stuff for the cats, so that was really cool to see. We didn't actually get to see one of the cats, but she did say they were there, and they mainly come out at night because of the amount of people that are there during the day, as well as the heat is really hot. So they were hiding some places, but we never actually got to see any of them. The crowds honestly didn't bother me that much. Obviously you can see it's very crowded. Like I said, it's like middle of June. There's going to be a lot of people there, especially like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, peak tour time. But they really didn't bother me that much. There were some areas you could go to and they weren't as crowded, like you felt like you could breathe a little bit better. But here we are walking up into this, and it does feel a lot bigger than it did when we were standing down on that ground part down there.
And this is like the view, like if you were the intermediate class. That's not bad.
No? We could see everything. You could see all the...
Okay, so maybe I lied. This does look a little bit crowded right here, but this was only temporarily. I think it was kind of like the Vatican situation. Like, if you went slow enough, you wouldn't hit the crowds, but if you went faster, you'd hit all of the crowds. I think it's just the timing, and I think that's a lot of what has to do with it. But we're just walking around the Colosseum. I would have loved to have done a tour like where you actually got to go down into it, like where they kept all the animals, and done that and seen all of that. And if we ever go back, I probably will try to find us a tour like that, because that just seems so interesting. Getting to hear all of that information was cool enough there, but actually getting to go down there in there and see where they kept the animals, see where they kept some of the people and the prisoners and stuff would have been really cool to look at. But yeah, this is just we're just going along, and I just can't even imagine how much bigger this would have been if it had all of the pieces and parts to it. My mom probably got to hear a lot more information since she was right behind her and probably heard her as we were going talking, but I was a little far behind. If I wanted to stop and take a picture, I would do that and just catch up and walk up a little bit faster than I was going. But the terrain here really wasn't that bad. I know when we were first walking in, those rocks, the cobblestone rocks and stuff, was a little iffy, almost swell. Now I could just trip and fall walking on a flat surface over my own feet, but here it really wasn't that bad. As you can see, my mom's making it just fine, and sometimes she does have some issues walking and stuff, but we really didn't have any issues here. It was so weird just walking past these places like this where the rock is literally just like crumbling, and then you have like that big piece right there. There were a lot of tour groups, or maybe not tour groups, but just groups of people sitting on random stuff like that and like big marble pieces, because there really is no seats in there. That is the seat that you sit at. But there were a lot of people doing that as well. I think at maybe one point we did, just listening to her, but I did not record that, so that's really good, and didn't get that info saved or remembered at all.
We haven't took the elevator, we haven't found all this music, guys, so it's not easy, it's possible.
Also, if you've ever seen the Lizzie McGuire movie when they're in Rome and she ends up having like this big concert at the Colosseum, I'd always thought like it was actually filmed, which now I realize obviously it was not, because there is no way you could have a concert here and actually have people sitting in the stands like it was shown there. Now, do they still have events here like that? I have no idea, but I do know in one of the places we went in Rome, that amphitheater, they do actually still have concerts and have got it modernized a little bit, and where they are able to actually have concerts and stuff, but here not so much. So that was a little bummer, but did get to see the outside, and I think they actually filmed parts of the movie from the outside, just not in the inside like it's shown in the movie. It's not as crowded here as it was.
Yeah, but look at the bricks. There's a big brick, like the top in the middle.
Yeah.
Overall, in the Palatine feel, in the faraway scheme, we've seen.
You can really see how it gets crowded and congested in some of the more popular areas, just from other tour groups, just from people who are coming to visit. But this is why we felt like it was so important for us to have a tour guide for this area specifically. And she probably comes here, I would say, at least once a week, but probably more. The tour guide we had the day before said that she had actually had 3 back-to-back tours of the Colosseum this day, and that's why she was unable to go with us. So she knows so much about the Colosseum, gets to see the many details, so she was so used to being and traveling. You can see how well she's navigating and just going in and out of these people, knows exactly where to go. So we were really glad to have a tour guide and have a person who could take us through all of this, because had we not had her, we would have been absolutely clueless and just like walking around into other people probably.
And what they do was they make dolls because this became very sleek.
I was going to say, I don't think how many kind of give it a little
Yeah.
And that rock that was shinier and not as, I guess, gritty or rocky and stuff was very slick. I'm pretty sure I almost busted it there, and it was very slick. You could hear my mom saying how bad it was. It's not to the point where you're going to like fall or something all the time, but it is to the point where like you kind of need to be a little more cautious, especially if you have mobility issues like my mom does. But this was so cool to see, like, how in the world did they do this? Like, I have so many questions of how they built this without technology. So cool though.
This was the exit of the winner. But when it's so busy, they are stay hide.
And now we were actually ending the tour here. We are almost done. She does tell us a lot of information. My brain is just so bad, I can't remember any of it, so I do apologize for that. Had I been editing this sooner, I probably would have remembered a little bit more than I do. But she is actually taking us through the exit, and we are actually about to go on another tour. It's just not through Live Tours. So the next tour we're going to is actually the Borghese Gallery. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that is an option through Live Tours to go there. But unfortunately, I booked this tour on such a late time period that it was we were unable to get tickets to that, and we had to get it for that other museum, which I honestly really enjoyed that one, but not going to the Borghese Gallery was not something I wanted to do, so we definitely had to go through that. We did get a tour through Viator, and I was actually unable to get tickets through the actual museum because I probably would have done that. So we just got tickets through this Viator group and was able to get in like that. So it was pretty inexpensive. I wish I could remember how much it was, but it was pretty good. The tour guide was knowledgeable, and it was just a big group of people. But we did have a good time at the Borghese Gallery. We got there a little bit earlier and walked around. So this is actually got a park around it, and if you've seen TikToks of Rome, then you have probably seen the Borghese area where there's like a pond and you can get on a boat and like a little canoe and do that. But I did not know that was here, honestly. I think I was so tired that even if I had known that was here, probably would not have went to it. So this tour, actually, we did have a headset. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I do think we had a headset, and we listened through that, so I really don't know any information about any of the artwork unless I specifically say. And this museum actually closed within like 2 hours of the tour, so we were a little rushed. I think if we wouldn't have been on such a time crunch just from the museum closing, that it might not have been in such a rush, but towards the end we really were rushing and we're basically kind of being pushed out the door, which was kind of okay with us because we were just that tired. Like, we had had such a long trip, but this artwork was just amazing to see, and this was all carved. I'm sure they told us every little detail about it, but truly I have no words because I have no memory to repeat any of the information they gave us. But it was so nice to see all this
This
really
man, the
beautiful
type of
artwork.
Caesars, the Roman emperors. Then, as we have seen in the first room, it's also is given by paintings, decorations from the time of the Borghese family, but also Roman art. Close to you, on your left side, you can see 3 statues from the Roman age, and the same is on the right, like also a beautiful mosaic floor dating from the third century. That the mosaic was in another place, very ancient, and then at the time of the Borghese family was taken and decorated. Now we are in front of another important.
So I'm really glad I was wrong about us having headsets and that she was actually just talking. I think the headsets were actually just at the Sagrada de Familia tour. But she was able to tell a lot of information. Whether or not I was close enough for her to pick up on my video is a different story. So a lot of it is going to have to be muted because I wasn't close enough when she was talking, unfortunately. But you still get to see everything, and all the artwork in here was just amazing, truly. I mean, we have been seeing this for days, but it was still really cool to see.
In the frieze, it is in the middle of the walls, Egyptian symbols, but also about kind of.
So I think at the time I was a little annoyed that we had to come at the end of the day after a long big tour because we were so tired, but obviously at the end of the day we done it, and I'm so glad we did. But like I said, we were just unable to get tickets through there, but it kind of worked out in our favor going at the end of the day. Now obviously this room's a little more crowded, but as we kept going and as time kept getting closer and closer to when they closed, you could definitely tell that the crowd was dying down, so that was a plus. I don't think I realized it though until I'm watching this video back. And if I had been a person that had got just tickets and not through the Viator tour, I think that would have worked out too very well for them because you could just listen to her talk.
The execution, he died twice. Thanks us a lot about his life and also his poetry, his art. And now, all the art for the sea. Also the sea. Magnificent, rosy, very impressive photograph. And then we talk about this picture, but in the moment, we are surrounded by statues from the ancient Roman age. On our left side, we have an eagle. Then above the niche, here there is an eagle. Then I will show you another symbol, the kind of symbols of the Portuguese. Another element is a mosaic. Look at the front. So it is a mosaic for the chains. In the home also, like in the street, it is quite enough of Roman statues. These are all original. The whole painting decoration is also not naturalistic, it's some geometric patterns. All original. A mosaic floor dating from the 300, so the 4th century, as you can imagine, because it's much older than the museum, so it is that part of the living room of Cristina, and then it was removed as the ring. Okay, look above us. Here, yes, in front of us.
All the marble in that last room was one of my favorite things to look at. I have one picture of that last statue that was kind of like marble and just, it was so pretty and I really liked that. I really wanted to touch it and I may have, honestly, but it was still really cool to see. But one interesting thing to note is that the Borghese Gallery was actually a family owned estate and they just collected all this artwork as they got it and kept it in their family. Now at some point they did turn it over to the Roman government, of course, to open up as a museum, but it was actually started out as their own personal estate and they just acquired all this artwork, which that was really cool. But can you imagine like how rich you had to be to do that? That's crazy, because I mean even in those times that would have been a lot of money. And I just googled it and it said that the Borghese family is actually still a very prominent family in Italy today, so that is really cool and interesting to know. I do wish that we would have got to see at our own pace and go a little slower towards the end. We really just sped through a lot of stuff and didn't get to hear a lot of information, unfortunately, but we did see it and I might go back again depending on our times. So we're actually ending up our time here at the Borghese Gallery. We did, like I say, have to speed through a lot of things, and I don't think I got just a ton of information, but I think we were actually being rushed out by some of the people and really had to rush going through, basically just walking through some of the other rooms. But after we done this, we had to get something called a free now, so they actually don't have Ubers and Lyfts, and so we got the free now, which was their version of that, and got back to the hotel. We did have to sit in a lot of traffic, and honestly I could kick myself for not knowing that the Trevi Fountain was literally almost right around the corner, and we probably could have just walked there and then walked all the way back to the hotel. But you know, hindsight is 2020, so next time we will know that for sure. But it was really cool to see all that. And then this is just some traffic that we're going to, and then our restaurant is my favorite restaurant, the Osteria de Fortunata. We ended up going to the one that was close to our hotel, and oh, that meal was so good, and I loved it just as much as I did the first time we ate there. I'm not even kidding when I say that I think about this meal more often than I should. This time at Osteria de Fortunata, I got the spaghetti. My mom had let me try hers a day or two before when we got there, and of course I ate every bit of it. And then here she is making the homemade pasta, and I know there probably are restaurants that are more not as mainstream and more local to them, but this was so good. I loved those meatballs, and really I do think about that more often than I should. But then after we got done eating, we went to the market, which was closed down. Obviously they will put that up and put it down, close it down quickly. They have these little street sweeper things that will get all the trash up. They'll spray the ground off. and it goes up and down just as quickly. And it was really nice to just walk around for a little bit, but we did have to get back to our room so we could start packing up. But before we got done packing, we went ahead to Merve, which was the gelato place right next to our hotel, and it was actually the best gelato of the whole entire trip, and it was right next to our hotel room. I wish we would have known about it sooner, but we just didn't think to try it, and it also was not open when we go by sometimes. I see several awards. I can see why they had so many awards, because that gelato was so good. I think I ended up getting the Merve, which is their signature flavor. I don't really know what it tasted like, and then that cookies and cream flavored one. It was very good. The best gelato of the entire trip again. But after we done this, we did have to get back to the room and pack up. I think we actually got done packing around 10ish, got to bed at a normal time, because we were going to try to wake up and go to the Trevi Fountain, but unfortunately I decided not to do that because I was just so tired. Best gelato of the trip. So we ended up getting a van from our hotel and scheduled that like the day or two, or maybe even when we arrived, and we were able to get all of our luggage in because we specifically requested the van, and it was no extra charge than not their set final price that goes to the airport. But on our drive out, we just looked around. We did get to see the river. I don't think we had actually ever crossed that, but we did get to see it while driving. So at this point, I really do think that we were both very ready to get home, and we just had to go through all the flight and everything. That part I probably could have skipped and everything. It wasn't a bad flight, but we were just that ready to go home. Like, if I could have just drove down the street to get home, but that is quite literally impossible when you're on the other side of the world. But we had such a good trip. This was one of the best trips that we had ever had. This year we had done so much traveling and going to Disney World, going here, and I went to Tennessee a few months after this, and then we ended up going to Vegas and Disneyland. So this year truly was full of so much good, and for us to have such a good trip, I'm so glad that we had this year of traveling and was able to do this, because the next 2 years were not quite like that, unfortunately. But we do think about this trip a lot. We talk about it. We talk about going back all the time, and we will eventually go back. I don't know when. Right now I'm just trying to think of how we can even do that, or when we can go. But we did have such a good time on this trip, and I've really enjoyed being able to look back at all these memories, make these videos, see all of this stuff. And it's so weird when you think of Rome. You think of obviously Colosseum, like where we were staying at, but then you have areas like this where it's just like straight up city, apartments, buses, cars everywhere. So that was a little different, and something you don't really think about a lot, I guess, when you travel to different cities and stuff like that. But we are on the airport. I think it was maybe 30 minutes to an hour from our hotel to the airport. It's not like close by the city or anything either, so that was a little interesting to me. But I don't remember, well, we never flew into the airport, so I would not have known that to begin with. So this was a nice little drive out of the city, though. I really don't remember much about the airport. I figure it was pretty uneventful, considering I don't remember anything, because if it would have been issues and stuff, I definitely would have remembered that. But we did have to go through this weird passport thing, and you'll see my mom in a minute. She's like struggling to get through, but I don't really know what that was for, honestly. But I do remember the TSA line was super short and did not take any time. But I had an issue with my magnets that we'd have from the cruise. I put that in my carry-on, and they had stopped me and had to look through all of my carry-on bag, unfortunately. So is this all the TSA is? I have no idea why this TSA line was so empty, but I have never seen a TSA line with this amount of people because it was so short, which was so weird. I don't know if we got a special line or what. I cannot remember, but it was so good. There's like maybe 50 people here. One thing we did do after going through the security was getting our VAT tax refund. So I think we ended up getting maybe $20 or so, and the only reason we got that is because of the Disney cruise. They were really pushing the VAT tax receipts and everything, so we did end up getting a little bit of money from that. But everywhere else we shopped, we didn't spend enough to even qualify to get anything back off of it, and if we did, it was not much at all. How much was all this? 25 euros? It's okay. Not bad. I've had worse. So I'm pretty sure I've had worse meals than that, but that is just above the worst. It was not the best, but I mean, it was edible, but I had to have something to eat before we got on the plane, and I think honestly the plane food was a little bit better than what we got there. And now we're making our way onto the plane and about to get on our flight. We did end up getting the Comfort Plus seats. Don't have any video footage of them. This is just getting on the plane and then, or making it to this point and then taking off on the plane. That's all I got. But this was such a good trip. I'm so glad we got to do that. This flight was a little delayed. I can't remember by how much, and we had known that the day before, so we ended up telling the van service from the hotel that and let them know, and so we did delay that a little bit, but we ended up getting back in Atlanta maybe around 7 or 8 or so. But what I was not anticipating was the global entry line. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but like when you go back into the United States, you have to claim whatever you claim. Of course, we didn't have anything to claim, but you go through that, and through my credit card we ended up getting global entry or something, and there was a major difference in lines from the standard line that everyone goes through and the global entry line. My stuff just did not come in time, and I was a little sad about that because we ended up waiting probably an hour in this line once we got to Atlanta, and it's like 9 o'clock I think by the time we had got out of it. Then we had to go find our gate. That flight, thank goodness, ended up getting delayed by an hour, and I don't think I'd ever say that before, but hey, this is the meal. It was ravioli, some type of quinoa salad, tiramisu. So I think I ate this, and I think I slept for the majority of the flight on here because I was so tired, and it was just me and my mom, so it was a 2-seat and then 4-seat and then 2 seats on the other side. Of course we had to get a window seat too, but this is just showing how long the flight was and everything. But going back to Atlanta, once we got off of our plane, went through that, all the restaurants were closing down in Atlanta, so we ended up just getting Arby's or something because we were hungry at that point, because we didn't really eat the next meal that they gave us. You can see what it is, and you can probably tell my voice how tired I was at that point. But we done that, and from Atlanta we had our connecting flight back home in Alabama to go there. But I literally have no videos from Atlanta. The very last video clip is going to be the TSA or global entry line going back into the US. Well, they didn't bring breakfast food. So that is what we had on the plane, and it was okay. It was much better than what we had in the Atlanta airport, I will say that. But if you have been following along through this series, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe for more, because I've got a lot more trips planned and a lot more trips that I have filmed that I have yet to even think about editing. So I will be posting a new series next week. I'm either going to decide between what we done this summer or what we done last year in September when we went to the Oogie Boogie Bash. But either way, you will see something new next week. So after we landed here in Atlanta, we did have to go through the global entry thing, and that took an hour. Ended up, if our flight would not have been delayed by an hour going home to Alabama, I don't know how we would have made it, honestly, but we would have been cutting the edge, I think, because that line took so long. But I will say, once we got on that flight, it was around midnight, and then at when we landed in Alabama. It was around midnight our time. So then we had another 2-ish hour drive home and ended up getting home at like 2:30 maybe in the morning. So we did have a very long day, but we were so thankful to be home. And I don't know if I've ever been glad or so happy to be in the United States than I was when we landed here on this day. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next series.